Hi everyone, welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. My name is Lisa Curcio. The new Occasions catalog is about to debut just 2 more days, and it is amazing. But you're going to want to get your hands on this. If you are interested in ordering Stampin' Up! Products and you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to send you a copy. But in addition to this, is going to be starting Stampin' Up's largest sale of the year celebration. So if you're interested in one, I'll be able to include the sale items with you too. But here's the best part of the sale. These items are absolutely free. Yes, free. But because of regulations, I can't show you the inside of the pages until after the 4th when it goes live. But I'd sure love to send you your own copy. Today's project is going to include product that is from that brand new catalog. And the Occasions catalog stamp set is Dragonfly Dreams. Now, when I created and designed this card, I knew I wanted an iridescent look to the wings, obviously for Dragonfly, but I wanted some graduated tones. So I'm going to teach you some watercoloring techniques and tips, and I want to show you how to bling up those wings a little bit with some metallic threads. So let's get over the stamp table and get started. Look at the shimmer on those wings to this Dragonfly. That is clear Wink of Stella, boy, and you just gotta love the way that makes those wings almost look real. An easy card, simple layout, definitely something you can mimic with other images here. So let me show you how simple it is to put together. We'll start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. You're going to find all the measurements for today's project over on my blog post. I've put the link in the description bar below here on the channel so that you'll be able to get there easily. Then we're going to do some stamping near at the bottom. I'm going to use 2 colors. I've got Mint Macaroon and Bermuda Bay. I'm going to set those aside. The stamp set is Dragonfly Dreams. Isn't it beautiful? Here's the best part. You can buy just the stamp set, which is what I'm using today, or you can buy it in a bundle. If you buy it with the framelits, you're going to save 10% on the overall purchase. I'm going to give you a good tip. Always buy them in a bundle if they're available, because you're not going to want a fussy cut. You're going to want the framelits and the stamp set. They work beautifully together. These products are coming out in the Occasions catalog that's actually debuting in just a couple days. Because of the regulations with Stampin' Up!, I'm not allowed to open the pages and show you, but I can tell you that it is loaded with great products, not just this one, and there are amazing samples as always. But starting January 4th, there's also a huge sale. This is Stampin' Up's largest sale of the year, and it's called Celebration. For every $50 you spend, whether it's in here or in the annual catalog, you'll be able to choose something from this book for absolutely free. Again, because of regulations, I cannot open it and show you the pages, but I promise you're going to love everything that's in there. And let's face it, who doesn't love free? So that's where this product came from, is the Occasions catalog. So we're going to be using just the stamp set today. Back to my card. Got the Mint and the Bermuda Bay inks. In the image of the stamp set, there are these really whimsical dotted patterns. So I want to create a little bit of a border here at the bottom, but these inks are very, very strong in color. So I'm going to do some stamping off. And all that means, and I'm going to start with the darkest one first, is we're going to ink it up, but we're going to tap off on our paper so that the shade is lighter. I'm going to do a little bit here at the bottom, and that's still a little bit dark for me, so I'm stamping off twice now, and I'm going to fill in, and I'm going to stamp off once, and then fill in. So you see I have some graduation of color. So I'm stamping off twice, and then I'm going to fill in just a little bit more here. So now we've got a little bit of a border going on here at the bottom of the card. I'm going to clean my stamp. It's just off camera. It is the Stampin' Scrub. It's like doing the dishes. One side is wet, one side is dry. It's a fabulous product. I have a video on it, and I'll provide the link for that here below. This is the Mint, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to tap. I'm going to stamp off definitely a lighter color. So it's not going to be as strong as the Bermuda Bay. So that's going to give us a little bit of depth to that background image here at the bottom. This is a small square of Whisper White cardstock. You're going to find all the cutting dimensions over on my blog. I put the link here in the description below to make it easy for you to find. It is photopolymer ink, and I really like to use my Memento pad for this. Now, some of you are going to be saying, well, that's a water-based ink, and if you're going to color it, it's going to bleed. I have had great experience. Now, it depends on how heavy-handed you are. So today I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to let you be the judge of how you'd like to go. But I'm going to tell you that this is a very large image, and I have found that by adding this, which is the Pierce mat, underneath my grid paper, my work surface, I'm giving myself a little bit of a spongy area to help get out all the details in my stamp. Now, you're going to see that this image is very closely related to the ink pad. So if you were to ink it this way, oftentimes you're going to miss areas. Do you see here how when I flip it over, we've got an area here that doesn't have ink on it? So what I like to do is use it face up. So hold it by the sides, and then you're able to actually manipulate the corners of your ink pad into any areas you may have missed. So that's going to give you a nice inked impression every time. My foam mat is underneath here, my Pierce mat, and I'm going to stamp just a portion of this Dragonfly right here in the center of this white cardstock. I want to create some visual interest, so I'm actually making it offset. So there we go, we've got our image. So I'm going to give that just a second to dry. I'm going to remove that Pierce mat out from underneath my work surface because we don't need it anymore. It's great for those large images. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do some watercoloring. I'm going to flip this grid paper over because I have a feeling that's going to be a tad distracting for you as I color, because you're not going to be able to see really well where I'm at. So I'm going to use the same colors that we used just a few minutes ago, but I'm also going to add in now Island Indigo. I like to start with the lightest color first, so I'm using the Mint Macaroon. I'm going to flip over the pad and I'm going to give it a squeeze. We made these flexible so that when you open this, it's going to put a well of color inside the lid. I'm using my aqua painter. This takes the place of a watercolor brush, and here's why I love it. You unscrew it, you just put tap water inside, and then there's no dipping in a cup to get the bristles wet. This is great to use on any type of paper, so Whisper White, Vanilla. I especially love it on watercolor paper and, of course, shimmery white cardstock, which are way more resistant for watercoloring than regular white cardstock, which is what I'm using today. So my best tip about this is not to oversaturate your image. You want to make sure that you're going a small section at a time and that you're letting it dry. This type of paper will pile if you get it too wet. So if you like this, you can switch over to watercolor paper if you want to have more control. So I'm taking the cap off. I like to give mine a little bit of a squeeze in the bristles because I want to make sure that it's not too wet. I'm going to pick up some ink, but I'm going to dilute it here off to the side. I want to be able to control how much color that I have. And I find that if I add too much, then I've gotten too dark. So I'm going to start here in the middle of the wings, and I'm going to color in. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So you can see I'm adding the mint right here and the inside of the Dragonfly wings. And I'm going to do that on each one of these here. And again, you see how I'm dragging out the ink to make sure that it's not too strong and too dark. Now this is a light color, so this one's very, very forgiving. But as we graduate in the colors, you're going to notice that there's going to be a difference. So I'm going to add a little bit more down here on this wing. This is really effortless, and I just love it because the bristles are nice and pointed, and they're going to do a great job. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little color inside the body here, and a little by the lines inside his eyes, and a little down the dotted tail. Now I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to close that pad up. This is my Stampin' Scrub. So I'm going to squeeze out the pen on the wet side. And what I've actually just done is I have rinsed the bristles off. So all that color I've just used is now gone. Now I'm going to switch over to the Bermuda Bay. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to give it a squeeze. And I'm going to open it up, and you're going to see how now there's a well of color here inside the lid. Same thing. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to water it down because you can see how much darker this color is. This ink will be very concentrated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch out this a little bit and pick up where I left off. So I'm going to blend those colors a little bit together and then stretch the color out. And the same thing on all four wings. Now this one, the wing is shorter on this side, so I'm going to take it all the way out, and the same thing here, bringing my color out. You're also going to notice when it's darkest is when you first pick it up. I lay it on the outside and I work my way in. I find that's going to leave the darkest areas of color on the outside and not smack dab in the middle of my image where it's going to be more noticeable that I haven't watercolored it well. So I'm going to add those here. I'm going to stretch that out a little bit. And I think I'm going to go a little bit more. And then we're going to add one more color to the tips of these wings. So I'm going to close this up. I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Scrub again. I'm going to squeeze out the bristles to make sure that they're rinsed out. And then again, I like to pinch the tip. This is just a Lisa thing. You don't have to do that, but I don't want it saturated wet. I want to be able to control it. Island Indigo ink, squeezing. And again, I've got a little well of ink there that I need. So again, a stronger color yet. So on the outside, I'm laying the color and I'm moving it in. Outside, moving it in. And you're going to see now how there's been a graduation of tones. We started with the lightest green towards the center and the darkest towards the outside. And as soon as I'm done here, I'll hold it up for you so you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to add a little bit more here to kind of fill it in. All right. So I'm going to close that up. And again, you don't ever want to put your brush away dirty. So you can see how it's got blue here. So we're going to squeeze it over the scrub again and then just rinse off those bristles. Now, when you go to put your aqua painter away, give it a good squeeze and then put the cap on. You'll find by doing that that you'll have all the hairs into a nice sharp point. If you take good care of this, this is going to last you for eons. I mean, like probably forever. So you want to make sure that all the hairs are nice and straight. The worst thing is putting the cap on and then you've got some stray hairs sticking out the bottom. I'm going to give this a minute to dry. I did pull out another piece of cardstock. This is Bermuda Bay, and I've cut this just a 1/4 inch larger than my square so that we can do some mounting. But before we do that, I want to add the Wink of Stella. The clear Wink of Stella will provide that clear iridescent shimmer look. But I have learned the hard way, and here's another tip. Do not put it on wet or damp paper because you'll find that it just simply doesn't work. So I can tell my paper is slightly still damp, so I'm going to let this sit to the side while I work on my other pieces. This is a strip of Bermuda Bay cardstock, and I'm actually going to stamp my greeting on there with Memento ink. From the same stamp set, I have the words, "To a Wonderful Friend." I'm going to ink that up. And that's going to go here on our strip of cardstock. And I'm going to leave room at the end because I want to create a banner tip. So I'm going to stamp that here. I'm grabbing my scissors. I'm going to make a small snip in the center, like a slit. This is the best way to make a banner tip because it's going to ensure that both of your ends are relatively even. So here from the slit to the corner now, I am going to cut. So I'm going to cut from here to the top of the slit and then here from the top of the slit. And you're going to see, let me just give that a little bit more. There we go. You can see now that we've got a nice, perfect party banner tip for the end of this. This is going to end up going here at the top of our card. Let's go ahead and mount that. I'm using dimensionals. Now, this is how they come. There's a small amount left here, but you can see what I've done is I've taken my scissors and I've actually cut them in half. This is going to give me smaller pieces that will fit much better on these smaller pieces of cardstock. So I'd like to keep those in my Stamp Studio handy and ready to go. And I have one more here, and we'll add that one here as well. I find that pressing your nail in the center helps to release the paper. Sometimes those corners are a little bit hard to lift, especially with my short fingernails. So I'm going to lift those off, and we are going to attach that here near the top of the card. So I'm going to put that all the way to my edge and mount it. There we go. I just curled this slightly with my finger just to give it a little bit of interest. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add our Wink of Stella now. This feels pretty dry. Clear Wink of Stella. It looks not like much, actually. It's a beautiful white shimmer. And then all I'm going to do is brush on the color. If you want more, you can wait and let it dry and then add more. It has an alcohol base to it, so it dries very, very quickly. So I'm just going to brush that on. I love this product because I like shimmer and sparkle, and I really think that this provides an effortless way to do it. You don't have to mess with glue or glitter if you don't want to, and you can still get that really subtle shine to your project. So there we go. I'm going to lift that up so you can see it. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mount it on to this piece of cardstock. Remember how I told you that this has an alcohol base to it, so it dries really quickly. I'll add snail adhesive to both sides of my little piece of cardstock, and then I'll mount that here on the top. And then I'm going to add up a little bit more pizzazz to this. I am going to use the silver metallic thread. Now, obviously, if you don't like this step, you can skip it. I wanted to play up that metallic pizzazz in those wings. So I'm pulling off some of the thread from the spool. I'm going to use all 4 fingers. I'm going to leave a small tail here at the bottom, and I'm going to wrap it around my hand several times. This will give me the depth that I want. It's up to you how many times you want to go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it off my fingers, and I'm going to pinch it here in the middle. And then I'm going to cut my end. So I've got a straight one here. There we go. I'm going to pinch him right here. I am going to add that to the back of this image here. So I'm going to use a small piece of dimensional again. I'm going to put that right in the middle, take off that paper backing, and then I am going to place this here. So now I've got a little metallic fun going on behind this to kind of play up that iridescent look in the wings. I've cut a piece of black cardstock. This is where I'm going to mount this piece. I'm going to go ahead and add some more pieces to the outside of my image here. And since these are halves, I'm going to go ahead and do one in every corner so it's well and balanced. And I'll take off that paper backing and pressing to release that. That's going to reveal the other sticky side. And then I'm going to mount this right in the center. So I've got a nice black border now on this image that's going to play up that metallic thread really pretty. Then this is going to get mounted here. So I'm going to add some snail adhesive to the back. Oh, look, it ran out. Has that ever happened to you? So I've always got a backup. So we're just going to fill that one in, put a little bit more on there. I thought it was acting a little weird there for a few minutes, and that's because it was getting near the end. And I'm going to mount that here. Now, if you like an angle, go ahead and do that, but I'm going to put him all the way here near at the corner, and then I'm going to mount it. And you know me, no card is finished without some bling. So I'm grabbing my paper piercing tool, and I'm going to pull off a few of these rhinestones here. They already have glue dots on the back, so I'm going to add one up here. I'm going to go with a little bit larger one here. I'm going to go off to the side, and I'm going to take another smaller one, and I'm going to add that one here near at the bottom. I like to formulate some sort of a triangle pattern to create interest for the eye. So there we go. That's our Dragonfly card. Really pretty, and I really think you're going to love this stamp set. 2 more days. January 4th is the big day. If you are interested in ordering Stampin' Up! Products and you would like one, just leave me a comment below. I'd be happy to send you one of the brand new occasions catalog debuting January 4th, and of course the catalog for the free product as well, Celebration. I'm so glad that you've joined me, everyone. Head over to my blog for all the cutting dimensions and the pictures, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.